Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Captain of Industry here on Dragontail Island. This is our 7th episode, I do believe. So we're back here. I did let the game run quite a bit in between this episode and last episode, so you'll notice there's been quite a few changes. Our oil over here did dry up, so there's no more oil here, as you can see. So that did dry up. And I did move all of our rubber processing, or our one little rubber processing here, and our diesel generators over here off of our long-term storage. The diesel production here did get finished, along with our oil rig. I've got workers assigned there currently, and this tanker is going back and forth and bringing back crude oil from the oil rig. So as you can see here, the oil rig is a much longer term solution than our little oil wells were on the map. So that'll be nice. In theory, we won't run out of oil for a very long time. There is, at least in my last playthrough, there was another oil rig kind of scattered about, so we basically have at least two of these, maybe more, scattered throughout. So we're going to be good on oil for quite a bit. I did hook up a little fuel station here to this diesel, so that way these can go around and fill up the tree harvesters and the excavators pretty easily there. This is our diesel storage for just the generators and just the rubber. I have this one set up to be the export if the trucks need to take diesel to another location, like the coal mine or the iron mine over here. Excuse me. So, but all that's good. As you can see here, the diesel is working. We're burning the light oil right now that's being produced because we just don't have anything to do with it, and I don't want it gumming up the system. We are utilizing the heavy oil here to run our gas boiler down here. When I initially set this up, I did have to run a coal boiler down here just to spin it up so that we could start making the heavy oil. But once we were making the heavy oil, I have this set up where trucks can export from here, and I have this one set up to, once it gets below a certain amount, a truck will come by and just bring it over. So this is what allows us to burn the excess. So you'll notice here I have the output only if above 150, so that way we have a good amount in here. But you notice as soon as it gets over that, it outputs into the flare, and then the flare burns it. So same thing over here with the light oil. We keep a stockpile of 180, and then if we get more than that in the storage, it gets burned in the flare. So this is the only way that I've found that kind of keeps, that you can kind of keep a certain amount feeding into like a boiler, for example, here, without it or without it going into a flare, right? Because if we just set this up to say, okay, it outputs at 180 to the flare, or it outputs to the pipes, if I pipe this over to this one, it's going to be outputting to the flare at the same time. So this is the easiest way that I've found to do this. I'm sure there's another way to do it, but this is the way that I've found to do it. And it works pretty well because this boiler is not really burning that much heavy oil, so a truck doesn't have to come over here that often and do anything with that. Over here we got our cement making. I don't think this changed from last episode. This has just been kind of chugging along with this one rotary kiln over here. So that's good to go. I did upgrade one of the housings to tier 2 housing. And that was just to give us a little bit more population. I'll probably start upgrading these systematically as we need more population. I did also hook up 2 more farms up here. I don't remember if I did that last episode or in between. I think the farms were here, but they weren't plumbed up. So I did do that. They're hooked up here. We did also unlock the food market too. So each one of these can hold potatoes and vegetables. So our setup of the lines going to both of them before is actually working out well now. So there's that. We did finish tearing down our mountain of garbage over here and burning that in the burners here. So now we just have 2 burners set up, taking care of all of our waste for that. So I did do a little bit of a test here with the tree planter to plant a couple of palm trees around our house over here. And that needs saplings. So the way you get saplings is you, of course, grow them on a farm, but it does take a pretty long time to grow these. They take about a year to grow fully. So it can take a good while to grow those, but we've got a good surplus here. I'm not too worried about that. Iron Mine is still kicking as usual. Our assemblers are still working as usual. There wasn't I didn't make any changes to this, but I am realizing that I did set this up a little wrong. So the way I did this is I had split these between 2 of these, right? And that works. It's not completely like 9 and 9's 18. These spit out 24, so I mean, you could probably get a 3rd one in there, maybe, and if it's not running all the time. So the way I set these up is it's kind of inefficient, just because if we wanted to scale this further, it'd be really hard to do it, and that's kind of been my whole goal for. Like the way these blueprints are set up, if I want to scale this, if I want more assemblers, I just build to the left of it. Now, obviously, in this configuration, there's nowhere else to build to the left. But if I was building them kind of vertically on the screen here, you could see where I could just build to the left and it would kind of play in. I do want to completely redo these as we get on to the next pieces. Same thing with this, which that leads me into, we just check on everything up here too. Coal power plant's working well for now. The power is not anywhere near an issue right now. Copper's working well. So I did stop the terraforming down here, or the dumping down here, because I realized, go over here, I realized that we can build a ramp up to this upper level here. So I'm doing that right now. So they're dumping everything up here. See all the trucks lined up. All right, so, but that's pretty much where we're at for now. With that being said, let's go through and see all the stuff that we unlocked. I unlocked metal surfaces from the steel making, I believe. But I did complete all of this research here. So we've got construction 3, which unlocks construction parts 3, the assembler 3, and concrete mixer 2. I unlocked corn farming, so we can farm corn now. I did unlock some organic fertilizer, but you'll notice if you look at the compost here, there's not really a good way right now to get good amounts of compost, because you'll notice just burning up the food only gives you 1 per 60 seconds. So that's not really that helpful. Animal feed or biomass would be better, a better ratio, but we don't have access to those yet, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we could turn the corn into it and then burn that, or not burn it, but digest that into animal feed and then into compost from there. So I mean, we could do that. I don't think I'm ready to do that quite yet though, because we need to set up a better water situation for some of that, because once we upgrade these farms to the irrigated farms, they're going to use a lot of water. I don't necessarily want to empty out these water reserves. You can get the you'll notice it was sitting at 1500 even though this has been pumping. This does refill with rain that comes through. So you'll notice when a rainstorm comes through, this will fill up, albeit slowly, but it will fill up. So there's that. So we can utilize that, but I did on my last playthrough, I did run this reserve down, or not this one specifically, but on the other map, I did run the water reserve down. So I don't want to do that on this map. So I'm going to figure out another way to get water, and there's different ways you can do it. The biggest thing is via desalination from the seawater. There's more efficient ways to do it down here too with the thermal desalinator. So I'm going to try to hold off on the water situation until I can get down here to the thermal. All right. We did wheat farm processing. So you can see here we got a mill, a baking unit. Why is it not letting me right click on that? That's weird. Anyways, so mill. See, I mean, that's another way for us to get animal feed. And then the corn mash can be turned into ethanol, which will more than likely be a fuel source. We did get some new edicts as well over here. So we got a health boost to kind of help some of our colony stats. We did get pipes too. So these pipes down here can hold 200 instead of just 60. So bigger pipes, bigger smokestack as well. So here's the smokestack. It can hold, or it can process 900 as opposed to just 60. So that'll be really good. We do have the basic desalination, which that's this recipe here. It gave us this one. So seawater plus some coal gives us water, brine, and exhaust. So that's one way to get it, but it's pretty inefficient and it uses coal, which is not super ideal. I mean, that is a limited resource. We will run out of that eventually. So that's where like I said before, the thermal is going to come into play. Most importantly, we unlocked steel smelting here. So we are going to completely revamp. Well, we're going to leave this part probably, but we're going to push this out and revamp our iron smelting here into making steel. So that's what we're going to do this episode. We did set up get logistics zones as well, which the way those work, I believe you have to click on the trucks. I am incorrect. Hang on, now I gotta remember how to do it. I only did it once, so now gotta reteach myself how to do it. Actually, probably tells me in here. Where is it? There it is. Controlled sections. So it's gonna be vehicle management. That's right. Okay. So we'll click here. And here's the zones. So you can set up a zone. Zones allowed to supply cargo for construction and deconstruction in the zone, includes custom surface replacements and manual tree planting. Good enough. But you can set up zones in here and limit your trucks to only operate in that zone. So if I said, put a zone here, for example, they would only be allowed to operate on this equipment. And I don't believe, unless this construction zone is set, I don't believe they're allowed to even leave the zone to go get things or go do anything else. So be careful with that. We did also get the electric boiler. So the electric boiler is interesting, and I'm sure I will find a use for it at some point. But you'll notice here the recipe: 24 water for 24 steam, but it uses 2 times the power. 2 times the power of this is 9 megawatts. All right, so you come over here to our coal power plant, right? Each one of these are producing 2. Each one of these can produce 6 mechanical power, which is enough to power 2 of these. So each one of these turbines effectively only produces 4 megawatts in the end, right? So we need 24 steam and then 9 megawatts of power. So you can see 24 steam does not equal 9 megawatts. It only equals 4 megawatts. So the only place I can see this electric boiler being useful is when you get later on in the game and power is much more efficient than what we're doing here. Mind you, this is much more efficient than just burning diesel, but this is not the most efficient that it's going to get. So yep, we unlocked that. We unlocked more vehicles, the barriers, which we will use at some point. And then we got biofuel down here, so we got the ability to make that fuel gas here. That's what this is. So you'll see the cracking unit there. We can make the fuel gas, which comes from the digester. Mix that with oxygen in the air separator, and you can get some diesel out of it. Not the most efficient, because again, in order to get that fuel gas, you have to either burn vegetables or you have to burn food right now, which is not ideal, considering food is kind of a limiting factor right now. We did unlock the food market too, as I mentioned before. We unlocked storage too, so we've got all of our bigger storages, which can hold 200 as opposed to, 400 as opposed to 200 in each. So there's that. We did unlock ship armor and ship weapons, and I have gone ahead and installed the armor and the weapons on the ship. You'll notice I have been around, and I've killed a few of the pirates as well with those guns. So I've been exploring while I was waiting for the research to finish as well. We did unlock Maintenance Depot 2, which is going to come in handy as we're getting a higher maintenance need. So right now you see, with everything running roughly, we're at 110, whatever, which is only about halfway to 220. And we can always boost it too, which will double this. But the why can I never remember where the where the thing is? See, I'll find it in a second. No, not under waste management. Not under crude oil. No. Here's the mill, the baking unit, the mixer, seawater pump. There's all our iron stuff, so oh, it's over here under production. Makes sense. So this produces 480, so it's double. It's basically double. It's double all around, right? Double the materials for double the maintenance. it even takes double the amount of workers and double the amount of electricity too. So quite literally just doubles the maintenance. All right. Concrete mixer 2. I might upgrade one of them over there. We're not really hurting on concrete though, so I'm not too worried about it. Our assembly 3 can start making better things here. But most importantly, it can take steel and make mechanical parts, and steel and make construction parts, which if you look here in the codec, iron is only used for those two things. So once we get steel up and working, we can completely phase out iron altogether. So, all right. So, also we unlock settlement power over here as well. And I've got our residence hooked up to power, which does provide us a bit of a unity boost. So there's that. Alrighty, so I'm going to do a little speed montage here of me setting up the steel, and then we'll come back and I will explain it all. So we also completed these goals as well. So see you when I'm done with that. Alrighty, so we're back now. I did complete the steel setup here, and you'll notice we are ready to cut it over. All I have to do is just take one of these lines from the blast furnace here and feed it into the oxygen furnace to start things up. So let's go ahead and do that on this side, so that way we still at least have some iron coming in while things are starting to things are getting kick-started. Because otherwise we might run into some issues before we're able to cut over our assemblers. We have to do this carefully, because if we just tear everything down, we might actually mess up our flow here. Let's get that out of here. Why are you doing that? No, just straight. That was weird. All right, so the molten iron's going in. It's using oxygen to produce molten steel. It's pouring that right here. It's going into the cooled caster. So you'll notice the ratios. So 24 coming out of here, going into here, 12 going out of there into here. This oxygen separator produces 36. So that's enough for, I believe, both these. Yep, that's exactly enough for 2. So we've got enough going into both of those. And now we've got some steel going down the line. Perfect. All right, now that one's up and working. Well, I think we can go ahead and I would say tear down the other one, but kind of I think we'll have enough time. I think we'll have enough time to go ahead and tear this down. So it's gonna be those two, that. And we'll leave that to empty out on its own. So we'll speed that along. And then put that there and get that built real quick. Right, and then all we have to do is just do that. And then set that up. Let's make sure this one's working well. Yep, looks like it. Oh, our tree saplings are full. So now we've got steel coming in on this belt, which is great. The only problem is these do not. So I'm going to go ahead and pause right now, just so that way I can plan out the upgrade path of this. Oh boy, I just made a really stupid... Oh. I'm not making construction parts 3 yet, so we can't build the assembly 3. So let's quickly get down some assembly 2s. So that way we don't run into issues. How much do we have stockpiled over here? Got about 800 stockpiled. Hopefully that lasts us. If not, I may be rushing to get the iron back up and working. See, I might... Well, let's do this. Let's do you there. Let's actually build this over. Give us 2 lines. A little bit of a waste, but that'll help us to... I'm actually going to disconnect that up to there. And I'm going to use a balancer here. So I've got to delete a couple of these. We'll delete that. We'll... Nope, that's a U-shape. That's not a molten. There we go. Molten balancer. And we're going to say the priority out is going to be iron, which is going to be coming off of this. We're going to put it... Oh, actually, we need to put it into... That will not fit on the conveyor belt. So we're going to put it into a single metal caster here. Not enough fuel to refuel a vehicle. Why? What do you mean? Are you stuck? I feel like you're stuck. think you're stuck. We'll just do recover. So hopefully he can go get some fuel. All right. So we're gonna plug that right there. Delete those belts. Oh, wrong one. We're gonna say that's gonna be the priority. So it's gonna say whatever comes in is gonna go out this output first, and then it'll go out this output second. Can the trucks get through there? I don't think they can. That might be mildly annoying for a minute. Let's see, which way is he going? He's going over there. Oh, yep, trucks can't get through there. Oh well. Yeah, they can go around this way. That's not too bad. So we have some... No, we still have steel on here. So let's do a quick remove of the steel. Okay, now it's filling up with iron. So iron will be fed in to this side of the inventory. Alrighty. So you can see it's feeding this one first. This is going to back up because it's only expecting 12. This is producing 24, but that at least gives us a trickle of iron, so that way it doesn't completely stop our assemblers over here. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and build out another one of my blueprints for the construction parts 3. So that requires 2 inputs. So we'll go with the 2 input. And plop that down right there. And it needed steel and construction parts 2. To make... Where's... Oh. There we go. I needed at least 2 to make construction parts 3. Upgrade that. Construction parts 3. And this is going to be construction parts 3. There we go. Alright, so once that gets built, we'll start making a trickle of construction parts 3. And that will allow us to switch these 2 over to using assembler 3s. Which this recipe is 12, 12, and 18. Oh, no, wrong one. So 15. Right, no, 12. Yeah, so 12, 12, 18. Right, okay. So we're probably only going to upgrade one of these, and we're probably going to disable the other 2. Just because it's going to be making 9, 18. Oh, 13.5. Mental math is not my strong suit. Thank goodness for calculators. All right. So it looks like this is almost up and functional. There we go. They should be making the construction part 3s now. That'll kind of get us chugging along there. Alrighty, and while we're waiting for these to get spun up and start making these, because they make these pretty slow, we will... These already being used for something? It shouldn't be. No, it doesn't look like it. Otherwise, you'd see a little line here saying a truck's coming to get it. We'll while I wait for those to come in, I'll let the game run a little bit in between this episode and next. And we will wait for... We'll wait to get some of these. I'll go ahead and upgrade at least one of these assemblers, switch this over to steel instead of iron, and then completely get rid of our retrofit solution here and start stockpiling these with... why is the iron not going in? That's bothersome. Is it because of that? Shouldn't be. Depaused. Oh, because they're stealing the lift. There we go. Now we're feeding in iron. Okay, that was almost another disaster. All right, but I'll let these pluck away a little bit. I'll transition these over to steel, and then we can get rid of this little wart on our steel factory, still producing iron for us, and transition straight over to steel. So, alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.